You're live.
Yes, Master. I only see you in the room, but I'm ready to set my phone.
There's 16 in there.
On here it shows only the minute. Shalom, everyone. Can you hear us?
No. Sit down.
Shalom, Sister Avia. Shalom, Sister Aspen English. Yeah, no red shirts today. So we're going to wait for some more sisters to enter the room before we get started. And if you sisters are already in the room, can you please say shalom? Let us know you're there.
Brother Tom, brother, I got him. Thank you very, very, very much. We are extremely grateful, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Which one is that? Turn down.
Shalom, Sabrina Walden. Shalom, Jessica Hayden. so sisters probably hear some voice.
Woo. Shalom, shalom, everyone. We're still just waiting for everyone to get settled in. We're still missing one person.
Oh.
So she can bring the other sisters. Sister Aspen, are you referring to Sister Ebony or just everyone? Shalom, Hadassah Miller.
Yeah.
Shalom.
Hallelujah. So first we're going to have a house introduction. And then we are going to get started.
I'll start. Shalom. I'm Robinique Rayner, house of Ronnie Rayner, land of blessings.
Shalom, this is Ebony, in the house of following Yahshua.
Shalom, Sister T from the House of Following Yeshua.
Shalom, Sister Tay, from the house of following Yahshua.
Shalom, Sister Chagit from the house of Lamar.
Shalom, Sarah Wallace.
All right. All right.
Shalom, Sister Tracy.
Brother Ken, absolutely, brother. I'd be honored. Yes, sir. All right. Let's get this thing started. Clearly, we are here discussing the topic continually of biblical marriage. Biblical marriage. And, oh gosh, he's xenodrone. And the biblical household. Yeah. Yes. So, does anybody want to start off with the topic that I haven't even announced yet? That's the topic, yes. But first, let me ask a question. How long have you all been married to your heads?
3 years.
I guess you can say a total of 17 years.
God damn.
Okay, I've been married to Master for 13 years.
I've been married to Master for a little over a month now.
I'm married to my husband for about 2 months now.
You gotta speak up.
For about 2 months.
2 months. So 2 months, 1 month, 13 years, 3 years, and just forever. In fact, I think y'all have a very unique story. You all met when?
We met in my 9th grade year of high school.
High school. Now, that ain't beautiful. I don't know what is. If that's not longevity and loyalty and dedication, I don't know what is. Damn.
Yeah.
Shalom, Sister Esther Bell and Tammy Dorsey.
Okay. So, How many are in homesteads?
We are.
How many are homesteads?
Are on homesteads.
Okay, we are.
I was
Y'all
like,
know
what
the
the
Rock
hell
family.
is? How have you liked homesteading?
It was a big change coming from the sort of city life or whatever, but we adjusted to the change pretty quickly. So I really like it now.
How long have you been in your homestead?
Third year. It's coming up on the third year next month, actually.
Wow. Hallelujah. And Sister Hagit, y'all are moving that way, right? They're moving towards homestead. Sister Aspen said, wow, I'm still in the lead with 31 years. And the baby's beyond adorable. Okay. So, first, we want to open up if there's any questions in the chat. Now, these questions have to be appropriate. If you're asking any inappropriate questions, you will immediately be blocked and banned. Especially you snakes in the grass. And we got the lawnmower. Keep them appropriate. The one question I do not want anybody ask in regards to biblical marriage, especially polygyny, is the question that always people seem to ask, which is, what are the sleeping arrangements? We're not answering that question. That's an irrelevant question. Each man runs his house his own way. There's the answer. So we're not addressing any of those questions that are, I would just consider completely foolish. If you have an honest question that you would like to ask, now's the time to ask. But first, I want to ask a question. How many of you were married to your head in the world before you came to the faith?
I was.
What kind of changes and adjustments have you seen with your head from him being in the world to him being in the faith?
In the world, it was most of like how most people grew up is happy wife, happy life. And now that we're in the faith, I've seen my husband grow and really take on his role, like how he's supposed to.
And for myself, it's very similar. Again, we were there. My master was a little bit different, but than the basic world stuff, he was already kind of known as a rebel. So he already had things where he did things his own way. But once he come to the faith or start reading the Bible for himself, he's always been what you call he's going to do things the way he see fit. And if he don't see, you can't prove it in the Bible, then he's not going to run it based on what everyone else tell him. He's going to use self-autonomy. But what I've seen him change most is he did start following the scriptures, and but he always kept his self-autonomy. So he made sure that whatever we did, he saw in the word, he was convicted, and he did it. And we went from city life to he started pursuing the old past once he seen it in the word and the scriptures, and he's been doing it ever since. And he's made dramatic changes. I mean, we talked about him a lot in the videos. I mean, we're homesteading now, 5 years here, and he's prepped for it 3-4 years prior. I mean, so he's made a lot of dramatic changes. He's just a totally different man.
All right. Well, I guess Sister Tracy's just shooting from the hips. So before I ask her question, I'm going to preface this question with, what is your perception of biblical marriage? Just the word, biblical marriage. What do you think of when I say that?
Traditional marriage, patriarchy.
So, talk louder.
My idea of biblical marriage is traditional marriage, focus on patriarchy.
Traditional marriage, patriarchy.
I say the same patriarchy and a man with his wives, no matter how many what the number looks like. It's a man with his wives and his family.
Anybody else?
The man as the head uh, and his family. Yes, it's basically the same thing.
So what if the man wants to move to Antarctica?
And the family just has to pack up and go.
Oh.
Exactly.
Mm. What if the man wants to sell your favorite cell phone?
Technically, it's not mine in the first place, so if he sells it, then I didn't need it.
What if... I need a good one. What if... I'm going to throw a little wild card out there. For most people on the channel, they already know, but what if the husband wants to have another cat? Y'all thought I was going to say wife, huh? Nope, cat. He wants another cat.
He's gonna get another cat.
Okay. All right. Now, what if he wants another wife?
He's gonna get another wife.
Gonna get another wife.
Okay. But as first wives, what was your first impression when you heard about polygyny? You were?
When I first heard about polygyny, we were just coming into the faith, so I wasn't all the way on board. But as we studied more and came more into it, and understanding that it's gonna take more than just me to be able to be a helpmeet towards my husband's, towards his vision, like it's just difficult with just one wife.
Wow. Tanisha?
I won't repeat what she said, but I agree. But also, then my first reaction was, well, I better start praying to change my master's heart, because as I always said, as soon as we heard it and knew it was biblical, I go, he's gonna have another wife. That's gonna happen. So I already knew once I heard it and knew it was biblical. That was in the Bible, and it wasn't traditional marriage where it's just one man and his wife. I knew he was gonna have one. I knew he was the man designed for it. I knew just how my husband carried himself from day one. So I just started immediately knowing I needed to prepare myself. So that was my first reaction. I need to prepare myself. I said, because with this heart, the way I look at it right now, it ain't gonna do me no good. So I need to ask y'all to change the way I'm looking at this.
Hallelujah. NSAA Freedom School asked a very stupid question, and he got blocked. There's an example. But in case you want to know NSAA Freedom, some of us actually believe in the be fruitful and multiply concept. Now, I probably know you cannot be fruitful and multiply. But for those of us that can, we actually do. Stupid question, stupid answer. Dumbass. Back to the questions. So now with that, let's go to Sister Tracy's question. What advice would you give to a sister that has lived polygyny in the world that now want the same lifestyle in the faith?
How does it differ?
Or how does it differ? So how does polygyny in the world differ than polygyny in the faith? Or in another way I would add in is a lot of women have transferred from the Muslim faith, or they're transferred over from Egyptology-based faiths. How does that differ from being in the faith? And we're talking about polygyny.
Okay, I'll start. How I notice it differs is if you're living a biblical polygynous lifestyle, and you start out in the world, or it may just be how you view things and what your beliefs are. Some people live polygyny in their matriarchy. Some people live polygyny, but they they are able to live a certain lifestyle that they would not be able to line up with the word at all. So the biggest difference I see is one, it is an obvious and a known thing that it's a patriarchal marriage and that the man runs the house and that the wives are to be helpmeets and to be submitted to their husbands or masters and that they know that they're following their helpmeet, their masters. There's no well, I have my opinion too, or I can still do my own thing. Another thing I notice is different is what things that you used to do, the freedoms that you used to have are not quite the same. Like some people still did their own thing while they're in these sorts of marriages. Went out when they wanted to, didn't maybe have to ask their masters, can they do things, or then maybe their masters didn't take as much responsibility over their where they went, what they did, what they bought, things like that. Whereas in biblical marriage, the master did take control of those things. He led those things. He knew what his wife needed. He protected her. He guided her. Everything went through the master. So I'll leave that one there for the next sister.
Anybody else?
I mean, it's a good question, but I guess I would feel like I would have to have like that background, I guess you say, because I was his only wife, so we didn't want to practice polygyny until we came more into the faith. So
Yeah, I think that's a good point. In order to answer that question, you'd have to have a background in wanting polygyny in the world, or because I know for a lot of different like Muslims, in a lot of ways it can be similar. They have different rules, in regards to it. We follow the Torah, and they have the different rules that they apply to how they do it. But it's kind of hard to answer the question if you've never
yeah.
been in that and done it that way. Okay. Sister Esther Bell had a question. This might sound crazy. How do you be a helpmate without giving your opinion too much? Still learning how to balance that. How can you be a helpmate without always wanting to give your opinion?
Because depending on the situation, your opinion is probably not needed. It's probably a situation where the Most High is trying to get your head to, I guess, experience something or to learn something in order for him to grow. Because just like we're growing and trying to assimilate to our heads, they're trying to grow as well in their position. So it just may not be always that you have to say something. If he asks, then that's another thing. But if he's not asking for your opinion, then you shouldn't always want to project it.
I agree. I'm still new at this, but I follow the guidance of my sister wives to see how they are acting with my master. Just take the cues from there, but at the moment it is just unless asked, don't give your opinion.
That's something I'm still working on myself. I'm still working on that, knowing when to give my opinion. If my master wanted, he'll ask me. So I'm just, working on that. I grew up in a polygynous family, and I never remember my mom always giving her opinion on things. But I don't know if she did run. My father ran his house differently than the way my master wants to run his house. So I'm just learning, what my master wants. So if he don't need my opinion, he don't need it.
That's a good point. Do you feel any conflicts internally because of how your father ran his house and how your husband runs his house?
Um, Sometimes I do because even though my parents were in the faith, it was my father did give my mother a lot of space. Like it was, I'm not gonna say equal because she did know her place, but she did have, you know, I don't know how to.
A little bit of free
Yeah,
reign.
she was more, you know, free. I ain't gonna say free because I don't feel like I'm not free following my master. So it was just different the way my father ran his home. So I'm just learning that just because my father ran his home like that doesn't mean that's what my master wants.
That's a very good. That's a very good point. Oh, wow. What happened? Really? You just want to kill some boogers. Nothing. um, Sister Tammy asked, was it hard for any of the sisters to learn the term master over the word husband? The word master still gives me pause. Sister Tammy, that's an excellent question because we actually had a discussion about that yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's an excellent question.
Fire away.
Fire away.
He said, was it hard?
Yeah.
It wasn't hard for me to call my master. It just took some getting used to. And then just watching videos before me and my master got married helped also to understand why you're calling him master.
For me, my husband, I say my husband, but he doesn't really like for me to call him master. I don't know if he will want me to in the future, but as of right now, when I call him or refer to him as sir, and what was hard for me was coming from Texas, southern state. We always say yes ma'am, yes sir to everybody in the store or wherever. And so it was hard for me to cut out saying yes sir or no sir to other people. Like when we were in the store, it was just a southern girl thing and it was just ingrained in me. So it was having to get that out of me just to know that I'm just showing respect to my husband and just saying yes sir to him or no to him.
For me, it was a slight pause as well, but I've watched my sister wives do it with such deep respect and getting out of the mindset of that slavery master thing, but as master and husband and just pretty much giving my life over to him, it was easier and it shows the deep respect I have for him.
Well, for me, in the beginning, it did bother me a little bit. But I'm from Israel and I speak Hebrew. And I just had to think about if I was speaking Hebrew or, in Hebrew.
Oh, listen to this. Everybody listen to this. This is good.
In Hebrew, husband is Ba'ali. And Ba'ali means like my owner or my master. And we say it regularly. So if I was speaking Hebrew, I would say Ba'ali, like my master or Ba'al to my husband all the time. So my husband did want me to say master. That was something he told me that's what he wants, and I still been working on it. But I had to look at myself like, why is it an issue when I'm a Hebrew? That's my language, that's my culture, and that's what I say if I wasn't speaking in English, you know. So it was for a minute. It was hard because had that, you know, American mentality for a second, thinking about master as a slave. But when I would talk to my friends in Hebrew, I would tell them my husband, Ba'ali, is, you know, and it's my owner, my husband, my master. So it made it much easier. Like, I'm saying that anyway. I'm just saying that in different language, you know. And it did show respect, more respect, and show my master that because he told me that that's something he wanted, and when I wasn't doing it, it did show that I had less respect for him because that's something that he wants.
So
Rosie.
with the word Baali, where did the word ish come from? Because today people say ish as husband.
Ish is man, basically.
It's man.
Yes, Isha. A man would say Isha is like my wife,
Mm-hmm.
but Ish is a man. Ish is man. Yeah.
Wow. So when
Well,
women,
Gever means man too, but Ish, I mean, I don't. But that's what we say. I speak this modern Hebrew, so don't
okay.
catch me on that because this modern Hebrew today Ish is man, basically.
Oh.
But they say
Baali.
Ishti, which means my wife, because Isha, like with the hand in, Isha is for female. It's woman,
Okay.
basically. So Ishti is my woman.
Oh.
So that's what they use for wives. They don't even have another thing for wife. It's Ishti, you know.
Oh.
Ish is man,
Okay. Thank
from what
you.
I know, and it's modern Hebrew.
Yes,
I'm not sure.
well, most people that speak the language today aren't speaking they're not speaking the ancient dialect. They're
Yeah.
speaking a modernized, even I would even say modern, like bastardized Hebrew. You know, especially when Americans come over and they're like, "I'm learning Hebrew," and they be trying to give lessons on Hebrew, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, it's like Spanish." You know, I tried to learn Spanish, and then there was the Spanish they learn in Spain, and then the Spanish they learn in Mexico, and those are two different Spanishes. Yeah, then you go to even South America, and people in Colombia or in Chile will say that they speak an even different Spanish than the Mexican Spanish or the Spain Spanish. So it's kind of like English. We have English, then we have Southern English, then we have Northern English, then we have Hood English.
Well, you can't when they say Ish Isha, that does mean like that one man, that one woman together.
Oh, okay.
So if you say Ish Isha, because now that I think about it, I know when they do wedding vows
Uh-huh.
and they do say like you will have them as Ish and Isha, so that means like
Men.
as man and wife.
Man and wife.
basically.
Okay.
But don't nobody really walk around saying my Ish in Hebrew.
Okay.
They say Baali, which means my owner or my
Master.
basically.
Wow. Huh. I guess that puts a different spin on the whole language thing. Because women today get choked up on the term master or Baal, as you were saying, Lord. What it says in 1 Peter 3 says Lord. You know, Sarah called Abraham Lord. People get choked up on that. And we don't understand that that's actually our custom. That was actually our custom from way back when. Ren Tierra, are you all married to the same man? No, they're not. We have 3 households here. The house of Ronnie with Sister Robinique. That she is on the left. Then I have Sister Tanisha, Tay Tay, and Ebony are the 3 in the center. And then Sister Hagit, that is from the house of Lamar. So we have 3 houses here. Okay. You 3 cannot participate in this one.
Doing good.
You have to answer this question honestly. completely honest. How do you feel about your husband taking another woman as a wife? Honest, pretend like we're not here just staring at you.
Honestly, like, it is a need, especially for me. Not like, yes, it will add to my master's or my husband's household, but it will help me because I would be able to have a sisterhood, and it will also help, like, I'm with the children, like I homeschool, at home. It will be good to be able to have like adult conversation, like besides just with the children. But it's a need, like, mentally, physically, at just being able to have a sister there that could help me throughout the day. And we, like I said before, we will be helping our husband improve his vision, his household. Like, it's a big need for me. Yes.
Excuse me.
Well, like I said, I grew up in a polygamous family. My father has 2 wives. Um, I see the lifestyle I live, the lifestyle we live, even now as Hebrews, it's a great benefit, not just health wise, also as friendship and sisterhood, like Sister Robinique said. Um, like I would love to have a sister to be able to be friends with, and we have that connection because of our master, our husband. Um, and it's also more security. Like, if you choose to come out and live out, it's more security when your husband isn't home. It's and you can. It helps build his vision. You know, if your husband wants to, um, build his family and have a certain amount of children or things like that, and want you homeschooling and things like that, it really helps. And then you also gain a covering, you know, and you like, why you can help your sister as well. It's I don't really see nothing wrong with it. Like I said, my parents, it was a really great example. I actually wanted to be stronger. If my husband brought another woman into the home, I would look for it to being her sister and having that strong bond. You know.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I want to ask more on that topic, but I want to answer. Forgive me if I mispronounce your name, Baron Yeager. He said, having said what you have about the word master, how do you reconcile the following? Matthew 23, 8 through 10. Be ye not ye called rabbi, for one is your master, even Messiah, and all ye are brethren. And I've answered this question, brother, several times. So, yes. So the word that you're referring to in master is the Greek word 2519. It means a guide, a master, or a teacher. So what Yahshua is saying is, do not call any other man teacher, for there was one teacher. That's why he says rabbi, and then he says, call no man master, which means teacher. Now, that's a different word. The Greek 2519 is a different word when you go to 1 Peter chapter 3. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse, where is it at? I just saw it. I just had it. 1 Peter 3. 1 Peter 3:6. It says, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord. That is the Greek word 2962. It's a whole different word. And it means he to whom a person or thing belongs. about which he has power of deciding, master or Lord. So those are two different words. The word you're referring to is the word teacher. When a woman calls her husband master, she's actually saying, I belong to you. You are the one that possesses me. When you call a man rabbi, you're actually saying, you're my teacher. So what Yahshua was saying was, don't call any other man rabbi or teacher or one that teaches me. Don't call any other man that. That's a whole different word. I know in our English language, it's the same word, but they actually have different meanings. So when people teach that verse, they say, well, women should not call their husband master. They're not calling their husband master as in teacher. They're calling him master as in, you are my owner. You possess me. That's why there's two different meanings for the word master in those two different definitions in Matthew 23 and then 1 Peter 3. The word master are two different words. So I think one of the biggest problems that we have in the English language is words mean so many different things. One word has so many different definitions. But in the Hebrew, as you were hearing our sister was explaining, a word can mean he, it could mean husband, and it can mean possessor. But they have different, and that's why they say English language is the hardest language to learn. Because you have there, and there. You have two, and two. You have all these different words that it's just a mess. The language is a mess. But hopefully that brings some sort of understanding. Yeah, why do you allow them to call teacher? They're not calling me teacher. They're calling me master, as in the one who possesses them, as we were in 1 Peter 3. You keep referring to the word master because if you look behind the word, it'll show you that they are actually two different words in the Hebrew. In the English, they're translated to the word master, but they're two different Hebrew words. So again, just real quickly, and then we're gonna get back on stream. The word master or Lord in the Greek in 1 Peter 3 is the word Kyrios. Kurios. It's phonetically pronounced Kurios. Whole different word. Now, if you go to the definition in Matthew 23, 8 through 10, the word master is 25:19. The word is kathigetes. Kathigetes. Basically, those are two different words that were translated into the same word in the English. So you have to look behind it. That's why in order to study the Bible, you need a good Bible dictionary. I would say the Thayer's definition is an excellent New Testament Greek dictionary. The Brown Driver's Briggs is an excellent Old Testament Bible dictionary. But you have to have your study tools with you when you study the Word. Otherwise, you'll get... well, Baron, you asked the question. I answered it. He says, don't call any man teacher. And he's talking to men, first of all.
Yep.
So you have to understand that when Yahshua was speaking, he was speaking to the men. So he's telling men, don't call any other man teacher. He wasn't referencing women. So if you have a problem with the Bible and you have a problem with the study, then you can go somewhere else, but I answered the question. They're two different words. And if the answer's not good enough to you, then I would suggest you do more study. All right. Back to the question. Okay. Do the other wives call the first wife mother or just sister? I asked because I saw this with someone else in the faith. Do y'all call Sister T mother?
No, Master. We call her sister.
Is that something that you think Brother Ronnie would want in his house?
No. No. No.
Hold up, I want to say something real quick. Yah Sunrise said, that's a great point, Yah Sunrise. Thank you for saying this. He said, sorry, I know it's for women only, but I can fast by not eating, I can run fast, or I can tie a horse fast to a post. 3 uses of the word fast. But it's one word. Same thing with the word master.
Yep.
You have to be able to take the word in the context and use it appropriately, and not just say, "Well, he said master." Okay, but what's behind the word?
He says rabbi. That's a man.
Yeah, he says rabbi, so he's talking to a man.
He says brethren in there as well.
Yep. Look at Sister Jasmine Fly. She said, "My head is my appointed teacher." That verse was not for sisters. Exactly. That verse was for men. Yahshua was talking to the men, and he was telling men, "Don't call another man your master, your teacher." But he was not referencing women in that verse. But people make the mistake of, that's the problem that we were talking about in the last live stream, was a lot of people take the Bible and they assume that it's for everybody.
Yeah.
It's for men and women alike. The Bible was written to men. And when it was addressed, and then it was written to sons, and it was written to daughters. And then it was written to women. But in every other instance, it was specified, my son. My son. And then in Ephesians 5, it says wives. So now you know Paul's talking to wives. Sister Tammy, you're good. You're good. Sister Hagit, would you want a second wife calling you mother?
No, she's my sister. We're sisters. I'm not
Sisters.
her mother. We're both under our master. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't want so old. I already don't want to be worried about my age now. So yeah, that.
The co-wife, shalom, sisters. Shalom, shalom. Honor to your head and his house. I honor you, sir. Hallelujah. Best Steph, shalom. Okay. Is it possible? Wait, Enoch. I'm not going to be able to pronounce your name. Forgive me. And I don't want to make the mistake of mispronouncing your last name. He asked, is it possible for the priest to provide scriptures of biblical marriage for spiritual and learning purposes? Well, it's all over the Bible. It's all over the Bible. If you listen to my other live streams, I have hit on that topic countless times in regards to David saying, or after David took Uriah the Hittite's wife, and Samuel the prophet, Nathan came and told him, you know, I gave you, these are the words of Yah, I gave you your husband's house, I gave you your husband's wives, and if that had not have been more, I would have given you more. So that's Yah specifically himself telling David, if you wanted more wives, I would give them to you. We know that the 12 tribes of Israel came from 4 women. 4 women, Leah, Rachel, Zilpah, and Bilhah were the 12 tribes of Israel. And out of the 12 tribes of Israel came Yahshua and David. And in fact, the Bible follows the 12 tribes throughout the whole book. So that just goes to show that, you know, if there's not a verse that condemns it, then it may not be for everybody to do, but it is a lawful thing to do. And that's for each man to determine amongst himself. It's for each man to determine how many wives he wants. If he wants any wives at all, these are determinations for the man to make. Palmetto Paratrooper, shalom. Yes, sir. You're good, brother. You good. All right. You have a question? Okay. Next question. What is your biggest fear when it comes to the idea of your husband being a polygynous man?
I would say her coming in and I guess causing discord and not wanting to assimilate or just not coming in and being a helper to the family or help me to my husband, and basically making life more difficult than what we already are dealing with.
I would say that's a very good point because, well, when you've gone through it, man. Anybody else? Look, Sister Hagi?
I agree with Sister Rabonique. If she's not coming in to help build and follow your husband's vision and doing anything to take it off and not helping, then other than that, I don't really have any fears from it. It only could benefit if you following, you know. It only could benefit if you following the vision of the head.
Okay. I'm sorry, we have children back here that are doing things. So there's parenting and a live stream happening. Are you, wait a minute, I just have to answer this. How I'm gonna ask this question. Are you afraid of the attention that another woman would get? Do you see that as he would be diminishing? You know, because people use that verse. You can't diminish, you know, from your first wife, your food, her clothing, and her conjugal rights. Do you feel like you'd be diminished?
I don't feel that way because the relationship that he will have with her, it won't be the same as the relationship that he has with me, especially because we've been together since we were in high school. So their relationship, you know, won't be the same at all. So I won't feel like anything is being taken away from me because I want for her what I have. So I want her to be able to like get to know him and so they can build something.
Wow. So you'd long for that. You wouldn't have a problem if he went on a long walk holding her hand, and you had all the children. And you were just like, I'm just so neglected and alone, and I wish you would hold my hand like that. You wouldn't have that?
No, because if you really want to be 100 with it, like I love my husband to death and all the attention that he gives me, I love it. But having that on you 24/7 and then, you know, dealing with the kids and kids pulling on you and stuff like that, sometimes you just need time to yourself or need a break. So it's not like, you know, I'm gonna just be sitting there moping like, oh, she's getting all this or whatever. No, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay because I know he likes to poke and have fun or whatever, so I know he's gonna come back around and, you know.
See, this answer we're talking about is a powerful answer that it doesn't get discussed. You know, people do not discuss marriage anymore, and we don't discuss, especially amongst, you know, the Hebrew people. We don't have an answer for what statistics are proving is destroying a people, and that statistic is the amount of children that are born outside of wedlock that will never experience guidance, a covering, raising of a father, which means, and I'm a victim of it, the streets take you in. Or the military industrial complex takes you in, and you become part of the military. And I'm not saying that all, but there's a lot of young men that don't have a future who say, hey, it's either selling drugs or it's going in the military. And that's their future. And we don't discuss, we keep saying things like, well, we have to build stronger homes and we have to, you know, send our children to college. Well, how is that going to happen when the mama has to work and the son's at home or the daughter's at home by herself or grandma's raising them? And we've seen those statistics, you know, where when grandma's raising, grandma can't keep up with that 16-year-old girl. She's climbing out the window. By the time she parachutes to the ground, you know, grandma don't even know what happened. And we have so many women that, find themselves engaged with men that are dogs, that are users, that are abusers. I'm talking both physically and emotionally. And by the time they find themselves in a position where they want to get married, they're just damaged. And you as a man end up having to do countless hours of therapy before you can even get to the point of even knowing her. Who she is. It's just the hours of therapy you got to do as a man is unbelievable for grown women. So the answer of this is family. The answer of this is community. And when you have women that say, hey, I have a good husband and I want for my sister what I want for myself. I think Dr. Dixon said that. It's such a foreign concept, especially in this country, because in this country, it's I got mine, the rest of you are effed. So instead of people looking at this and saying, well, it's weird and it sounds crazy and everything, you might just want to look at this and say, hey, maybe that's my answer instead of what I'm currently doing. Because what you're currently doing is only work because this society has allowed it to work. But as you see, society is falling apart. That's what every society does. They go through ebbs and flows. Amanda said, college is not a benefit for most. There are certain professions that require it, but trades are more valuable than the world would lead you to believe. I absolutely believe that. In fact, I would suggest trades over college any day of the week, and I went to college. I got degrees, and I would say trades are way more important than colleges, or than colleges. That's just my personal opinion. Okay, as sisters. They were giving each other the eye on camera. How about this? What do y'all think about the epidemic of women that are uncovered? What would you say to that woman that is uncovered, who is on the fence about whether she wants to engage in this lifestyle? You're not trying to convince her, because I don't think you should try to convince a woman or a man to do what needs to be done. It should be in them to do it. But what would you say to that woman that's on the fence about polygyny, about the topic of polygyny?
She could, if she doesn't have that much information about or know about it, she can, start asking questions. Speaking to people who know more about it, or just, if she's interested, just inquire, reach out. You never know what might come of it. Like Sister Tay here, she can testify to that.
Yeah.
I agree. I would recommend also that reaching out is very important, and just being on the fence. It's been such a rewarding experience having my sister wives with me, because my master is so busy, and if it's a man worth anything, then he would be busy. And they provide the companionship as well as the help in this lifestyle. It's nearly impossible to do it all by yourself. The fact that they're there for that emotional support as well as that physical support is a true blessing.
Are y'all able to hear? It's a mad delay. If y'all can hear, can you type 4 in the chat, please? It's a barely. So y'all gotta talk louder. Okay. Thank you. But one thing that Sister Taylor said, that if there's a man, if he's a man worth anything, he's what?
hard and very busy.
Working very hard and very busy. So y'all wouldn't want no. Yeah, Fearmonger, I'm behind the camera. And they are probably the back row's probably 5 feet from behind from the camera. But she said that a man that is worth anything is busy. Can you explain about would y'all want a man that was chilling? Come on, everybody likes a man that chill. You know, you call him, what you doing, baby? I'm chilling. Aren't you supposed to be at work right now? Yeah, I'm chilling.
We have sons and they need role models. So if they see their dad just sitting back chilling, then that's what we just gonna have generations of our men just sitting back and chilling.
Isn't that what we already have right now? A generation of men who'd be chilling.
Yeah, but that's not what we want.
I know my brother Fearmonger. Brother Fearmonger, you chilling? I saw you come up in the chat. You chilling, brother? You just chilling, right? Found metal said, y'all making me want to turn this off and get back to work. He said, no. I don't want no broken broke. He needs to work hard for his family. Woo! How hard does Brother Ronnie work?
He works very hard. Up early in the morning to get ready for work and leaving so early and coming home like late and then even on his days off, he's not just sitting around. He's cutting down trees, chopping up wood, helping me get garden areas situated, and spending time with the children. He's not just sitting, just laying down and chilling and watching us do everything.
Sister Tay, would you have been impressed if I was just chilling?
No, Master, I wouldn't.
Like you call me every time you call me, I just picked up. Like, what you doing? I was about to go out there and get some work.
No, not at all.
That wouldn't have been impressive. Oh, Sister Susan Bryant, what would you tell a new wife joining a family that would help her, and what would the new wife tell the existing wife or wives? So we'll take it one part at a time. What would you tell a new wife joining a family that would help her?
Since I'm still new and I just recently moved in with my master and my family, about 3 weeks, one thing, the first advice I would give is to go in with an open mind, no expectations, because when you have expectations and you begin to have demands, and you can get disappointed when those expectations are not met.
Good answer.
To come in asking questions and basically be a sponge, so you can soak up all the knowledge and how everything runs and works.
I would say the same thing. Ask questions, and also for if there's already wives there, that's a good place to start. I mean, the master is also there, but ask questions. But the people there's wives already there. They've kind of already been through anything that you probably think you would need to know. They've probably already been there, done that. If you ask these questions, you'll save yourself a lot of trouble. Prevent silly mistakes, or if you have never thought of that. You ask questions, and there's something you maybe that bothers you or concerns you in any way. Then there's your time to take it to your master and get it resolved early, instead of letting things fester because you don't understand something.
So communication.
Yes, Master.
Yeah. And then the second part was what the new wife. What would the new wife tell the existing wife or wives? So what? I'm not understanding that part.
I don't either.
The wives who have already been there. Is that what you mean by existing?
So what would a new wife ask? So like what would Sister Taylor
Tell us.
ask you? Or I'm guessing.
Yes. Well, Sister Taylor, what questions, and Ebony, you can answer that too. What questions did you all have for me that you felt were important? But you asked them. You asked them. But what questions did you have that you feel were important?
Yes, Master. Some questions was how your household was run, what your expectations were, as well as I asked my sister wives before I came things that would make you happy, what foods do you like, how do you like to be addressed, things like that, to make the transition easier.
She did. She asked all those questions.
And I was given thorough answers. Yeah, what the dynamic is, what your husband or what your master likes, how is daily life, or what things to avoid, or what doesn't your master like, what will cause him to be upset at you, or
It's kind of all the same stuff. Sister Kathy asks, I would like to take a sister wife, but I'm having a hard time convincing my husband. He says, absolutely not. Do you have any advice? Well, I would say this. As a wife, you should not convince your husband to take another wife. If he, it's his house, so if he chooses to only have one, then that's his choice. Because what if he is, insisting on having one wife and you convince him to do something that he doesn't really want to do, and she comes in and is absolutely miserable because he don't want her there. I don't believe that, we should live in the trying to convince people. That's why I tell men, don't try to convince a woman of polygyny. She has to want it. She has to want marriage. If she doesn't want marriage, or not even the polygyny. I've seen men who try to convince women, it's their first wife. You should marry me. I'm this, that, and the other, and da 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 da. Well, if you have to convince her, eventually that convincing wears out. And now what happens? She
Doesn't last.
Doesn't last.
Especially because if you have to convince them in the first place, if you are convincing a woman to be with you, then the woman is going to use you because she's gonna in a sense require that same convincing when it comes to everything else. She's gonna want you to deal with her the same way that you dealt with her then. And she will use you, and when you stop giving her or feeding that part of her, then she leaves and go somewhere else where she can get that same type of attention and that's what we normally happen.
Have I given y'all what y'all wanted? Well, see, one said yes and one said no.
And I say yes and no. It depends on how you look at that. You gave us what you wanted by us having you, but do you give us what we want when we ask?
Not all the
No,
time.
not really. Will you give us what we need? Yes. Do we determine what we need? No. So we can say we need something. He'd be like, no, you don't. You want that.
Mm.
So it just depends on how you look at that question.
Because eventually, what happens when you're no longer to meet those wants? Let's say something bad happens, and you lose your job or whatever, and you've been whining and dining her, and you think that she's going to understand when you lost your job? Probably not.
She's gonna be expecting everything that she was already giving her.
Mm. That's absolutely what's going to happen. She's used to eating steak, and you're like, well, the shit hit the fan. We have rice. She's like, where's my steak? You've been feeding me steak. I want my steak. If you have to convince a woman to marry you, that's not the woman you need anyway. Be about your father's business, and the woman or women you need will eventually be provided to you. I absolutely believe it. I absolutely believe it. And I can tell you from my personal experiences that I never convinced anybody, but as a man, getting off your vision and not going where the Father is taking you or is leading you, and you stray off because you want something to appease yourself, that's a foolish proposition, and it's going to lead to failure. It will lead to failure. That's a guarantee. Okay. Lucretia M asked, Shalom, sisters. Just hopped on and am fairly new to your channel and this walk. I hear Brother Chris say first wives. What is the difference between the first wives and the rest of the wives? That's an excellent question. Let's ask the first wives. What difference is there between you, so Sister Robinique, you want a second wife. What is the difference between you and her?
The difference between me and her, I guess the obvious would be that I was here first, and I will have different responsibilities than what she would have.
Tanisha?
The biggest difference, I think, is just experience, longevity, and you just know the man more, really. And so because you know him more, because you've been there longer, you know what he's looking, you know a lot more, you know how to respond, and you know what he's looking for usually, or how he wants things done. Whereas the other additional wives may not know that at first hand. Doesn't mean they won't know once they're there, and as they learn, they will learn these things about it, but that's not what they know firsthand. And they don't have the longevity, and usually the first wife probably have been there, if they've been there long enough, then they're proven to a degree of longevity. Basically, that would be part of the longevity. They have proven, so they have known, or they've seen this man change, so they know what he wants. They know his direction more, things like that.
I absolutely agree. I think that as far as from my perspective, and I have Brother Ronnie here, and he can get his perspective also. As the first wife, well, let me ask this question first. You as a first wife, do you want your sisters to have a great relationship with your husband, or are you secretly plotting to sabotage her? You know that he likes fried chicken well done, and you say he likes it. He likes the meat pink. God, that's awful.
That's the
As we already already said we want what our sisters, what we want for ourselves. So we want to see a great relationship between our master and all of his wives. And secondly, what people don't know, if we are telling sisters if you like his meat well done, and we teach her to cook pink meat, what most people don't know is the first wife is more accountable for a whole lot more than anyone else. It takes a while before any additional wives be held to a standard higher than anything basic. So she cooks pink meat. My master calls me. My master don't go to her and say all this other stuff. He may not say I don't like this and may show some upset, but he calls me and said, why is my meat pink even though she cooked it? So that's another thing people don't think about. They think, oh, first wife and all this other stuff, but first wives are held to much higher standards, much higher responsibility than anyone thinks. Yeah. So if you're there secretly sabotaging, you end up sabotaging yourself.
Ooh, gosh. These are some excellent points. Sister Jasmine Fly said, I've watched his evolution. I can show you how he feels respected. So watch me. That's exactly it. As the first wife, you're just like, hey, you can learn from my errors. You know, in having these discussions we've had over the years on these live streams and with sisters that are married and sisters that are looking for husbands, the first wife is always kind of like, the second wife and any subsequent wife after that has it easier. In a sense, because the answer key is right there. The first wife is the answer key, but it requires humility. It requires you to come in and say, I don't know everything, because most women that come in, I know everything. I know how to treat a man. I know how to. Well, if you knew that, then you'd probably be married. Just saying. So the opportunity that you have now to join a house and you have a first wife that is there explaining to you what your husband likes and what your husband doesn't like, you can avoid having to go through the pains of learning certain things, disappointments, pink chicken. Barani? I don't think there was a question.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Okay. So there's a bit on the Bible says, you know, the man cannot forsake the wife of his youth. So that would be obviously the first wife. But in all honesty, you know, I think that a lot of times, women fear things that men aren't even thinking about. Women come in and say, well, how's he going to treat me? And I'm worried about, you know, he's not going to care for me. Or the first wife's like, well, he's just getting another wife because I'm old. I'm old news. And we as men do not see it that way. Mm-hmm. We don't see it that way.
Oh, he wanted something else on the side or something like that.
There you go. And that's not how we see it at all as men. At all. So I think a lot of the fears that women have, if you actually spent time talking to women that were experienced in it, instead of talking to your single friends who know nothing about polygyny, who are basing, you know, don't go watch Sister Wives with whatever the heck his name was, Cody John Miller or Pete Burton or whatever his name was. Don't go and ask them. Don't go and ask your mama who is single and been single for the last 15 years. Don't go ask them. You need to talk to women that are married. Yeah. Talk to women that are in polygynous relationships, polygynous marriages. Don't talk to women who are practicing polygyny. Practicing polygyny is like the medical practice. They're just practicing. Talk to women that are doing it. And from there, you can get a better idea of what it is like coming into it. And then, you know, because there's a lot of women out there that do want polygyny. I'm talking about women that are single, who are in the backdrop, who are very shy about it because society has put this stigma on it. That you're weird, or you're an outcast, or you're different, or you're wicked, or it's adultery, or it's fornication, or it's whoremongering. They put all these different stigmas on it. No, dude, stop it. And I believe that, those stigmas have greatly affected marriage, especially amongst us. She's coming, dude. Wait. Any more questions before I launch back into a couple more questions? I feel it's difficult to find sisters who are following Torah and want to join a family. That's Sister Deborah L's comment. I'm going to have to say, I don't think, from my experience, sister, there's not a difficulty finding them. There's a difficulty finding ones that are serious. There's a lot of women today who claim that they keep the law. A lot of single women that claim they keep the law. A lot of single women that claim that they are in the faith, that they're walking with Yah, and they are some of the most rebellious. Get him inside, please. They are some of the most loudest, arrogant women. Have you seen that?
Yeah. Yep.
So one of the things that I did, sister, is I changed my criteria. It used to be, I want a woman that's in the faith, that's been walking with Yah for 15 years, and da-da-da-da-da. And I said I want a woman that's teachable.
Yes, sir.
I want a woman that's teachable, that is submissive. Because if she's teachable, because here's what I think. A lot of women who come into the faith and say they know the faith, they've been taught, but who taught them? Church. They were taught by the church. They were taught to respect their pastors.
Yep.
They were taught to honor their leaders. They've never been taught to honor a husband. Ever. He was kind of the last ditch. So when we say that, because a lot of women have been taught that way, it's brought a lot of difficulties in men because, they're going to their favorite, my teacher over here, he teaches that polygyny is wicked. He's teaching that polygyny is this, that, or the other. That's a problem. So, Sister Taylor, she didn't know a whole lot about the Bible. Is that true? Did not know a whole lot about the Bible. But we were doing Bible studies, and I was giving her assignments to do before she even came in. And she was doing them. And one of the greatest things I can actually say is she's learning the Bible from me. We don't have to get into a Bible arm wrestling match, which is one of the biggest problems. When I talk to her about the Bible, she's not like, well, I'm learned and I'm studied and I'm a prophetess. I don't have to go through that. She's just like, okay, and she's absorbing everything that is being presented. And for those of you that think, well, she's just this, that, or the other. Sister Taylor is a professional. Had a very professional career. Very professional career. Took years of study to accomplish.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say it, and you can share it if you want to, but I'm not gonna say it.
I was a registered nurse.
A registered nurse in a very difficult, I call it difficult field. Very difficult field. So the women are out there, brothers and sisters, but I think that sometimes we focus so much on she has to be in the faith.
Yeah.
And what we don't realize is most of the women that are in the faith and single aren't really in the faith. Because if they were really in the faith, the words of 7 women would take hold of one man and take away the reproach would mean something to them. That would hurt them. That would disturb them to their core, that I am a reproached woman. I'm shamed. That would bother them. So the fact that it doesn't bother them, I'm starting to really wonder now what it really truly means to be in this faith. Because it's more than just reading scriptures. It's living it. I wouldn't judge a man for it, but I wouldn't believe in looking for a wife. I believe in being open to gaining a wife. Looking for one is more likely to bring chaos. Being open to one will allow Yahweh to bring her to you. That Palmetto paratrooper, that's what I believe. I don't believe in men going out there and searching high and low for a wife. What I do believe is that you make yourself available. You make yourself open. And, put your petition before Yah. And ask yourself this question, man. Am I really just doing this to consume it upon my lust? Or do I really have a place for her in my house? And usually, if you have a place for her in your house, your wife will be the one standing right next to you side by side saying, I want you to have another wife. As you hear from Sister Robinique. I mean, outside of that, if it's a man out there running around like, oh my gosh, I'm on plenty of fish and plenty of whales and octopuses, and I'm looking on Tinder and I'm Facebook chatting all these sisters so I find myself a wife. That shit don't ever work out. The woman should have the spirit of. Leave me a light out. She should have the spirit of a Ruth. Sister Aspen, yeah, she was a registered nurse. She was in a nursing field. She was in a nursing field. Ooh.
There be light.
Let there be light. There you go. There you go, Palmetto Perturb. Am I a worthy wife, or a second, or a third? Yes. Is she coming into the household with a spirit of humility? Oh, shivering. I'm gonna ask a question. What standards do you think your husband has, and what is he looking for in a second wife? This is like one of those. Do you really know your husband?
Somebody, because I've heard him say it before. Somebody who is teachable. Somebody who, what was it? Somebody who's teachable, and somebody who is submissive, and I think submissive and somebody who's teachable is the big two.
Hallelujah. Coffee girl, shalom sister. Yes. Shalom sister, coffee girl. This is one of the subscribers that watched me back in Arizona, maybe back in California. She said, I've been here since the old YouTube channel, and I am not part of the Hebrew faith. There are some women out there who are not part of the faith, but watching faithfully. And that's what I agree with. This whole idea that the woman is going to be in the faith and she's just going to slide right into your household. I think that a lot of us have experienced heartache because we thought that that's how it was going to be. And a lot of these women in the faith, and I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying all of them at all. But a lot of these women in the faith have not been taught by a husband. They've been taught by 3 or 4 pastors, 4 or 5 YouTube channels. And I would say, brothers, you should look for somebody that is submissive, that is humble, that is willing to be taught. That way, any information, it says in the Apocrypha, when thou hast gained a fruitful possession, sow it with your own seed. Now, we can take seed to mean physical, seed, but also seed is information. Mm-hmm. And you want a woman's mind that is ready to be taught. Not a woman's mind that is, well, I know the scriptures and John chapter 4, and I'm Deborah. And if you have to get into an argument about who Deborah is and how she was a prophetess and a leader in Israel, that's probably not the way for you to go. I'm just saying. There you go, Palmetto Paratrooper. You're loyal to me. I can work with it. Yep. There you go. Palmetto, he said, I'm not even sure what in the faith means. As long as you love Yahshua. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Brother Melvin, can you send me an email about that one? Can you send me the link to that article? Wow. I was just about to order food from them. Man. And see, this right here, this is an attack on the food supply. And people don't understand this. Man.
I was just looking it up before we came up.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. But I agree with the Palmetto approach, but I don't even understand what in the faith means either. Because people say that, and Sister Deborah, this is not against you. We're not saying this against you, sister. But that term in the faith has been taken to mean so many different things. So many different things. Man. Sister Aspen said there seems to be a lot of options for those looking. I think you're talking about, as far as marriage, and yes, there absolutely are. There are absolutely plenty of options for sisters that are looking to be covered. But looking to be covered is an active process on the sister and not so much the husband. That's the sister who's like, I want to be covered. I want to be with a man that's got a vision that I can actively see his footsteps. And I can tell you, as for my brother Ronnie right here, his footsteps have shown his walk. His footsteps have shown his walk, his direction, where he's going. And I can say I adequately have seen them. I witnessed them. We've been talking fellowship for what, 3 years?
Yeah.
3 years. And I've seen every year his footsteps are further. He's way further down the road than where he was before. How he runs his house, his children, Sister Robinique. When Sister Robinique first came here, she was speaking to us in Braille. She would Morse code us. I was like, Sister Robinique, how you doing? I was like, whoa. But yes, Sister Aspen, there are plenty of options for sisters out there, and I'm trying to let y'all know, being single should not and was never one of them. That was never one of the options that you should that's chosen. So many choose it, but it's not an option that should be chosen. There are brothers. There are single brothers. There are married brothers. You see, the sisters right here. Well, the ones that are left. The other two are handling children and food.
Somebody trying to hide from the camera.
And a sister hiding from the camera. There she is. So you were born in a polygamous family, you said?
Well, I was younger when my father took another wife, but I was raised in a polygamous family.
So it's not foreign to you at all?
No.
Like first nature, like walking.
Yes, sir.
Brother Frank, you have a question? Or is that just you saying 5? Okay, thank you, Sister Cassie. She said we can still order.
Okay.
It shouldn't slow anything down. Whew.
Or is he saying me? Like, I said,
Oh.
Or is he saying me?
Me, yeah.
Like
what?
he's looking, or
Oh.
That's like Morse code. Hi, Shalom. It's been a while. I just had to mention that I believe lust means to desire something Yah has forbidden. Not really, because there's that verse in the law that says when you are going to the feast, I believe it's Tabernacles or Passover, one of the two. It says that you, in the distance be too far to travel, that you are to sell, the sheep that you were going to bring with you and convert it to money. And when you get to the location that you were going to, you can buy whatever your heart lusteth for. So, like a man lusting, what the world calls lusting. There it is, Passover. Thank you, Bizman. Thank you, Bizman. We've taken that word lust and meant that if a man desires his wife, which is basically what lust is, it's a strong desire. If we strongly desire our wives, and this world has taught us that if you strongly desire your wife, then there's a problem. You're in the flesh. Well, the scriptures, Paul clearly writes and explains to us what being in the flesh is about. He tells you adultery, whoremongering, lasciviousness, adultery, fornications. That's what operating in the flesh is. Killing, murder, slandering. That's operating in the flesh. Operating in the spirit, well, if you're a married man and you are with your wife, is that flesh or is that spirit? It's spirit if you're in your wife, because you're operating within Yah's law. The flesh comes in when it's sin. Flesh is sin, spirit is life. So that's one of the things that we talk about on this channel, the Disturbers of Israel channel, is all of this madness of, we have to operate in the spirit, and they made it sound like the spirit is just you're floating away. No, it's an actual thing. It's an actual thing. Operating in the spirit is an actual thing. Operating in the flesh is an actual thing. It's not just, I feel like I'm operating in the spirit, or I feel like I'm operating in the flesh. Are you? Are you lusting after sin? That's exactly it, brother. Sister Aspen. You're supposed to desire your wife. Supposed to. Mark Chase, shalom, brother. He said, fathers can give their sons an inheritance of houses and wealth, but only the Lord can give an understanding wife. That's exactly it. Only Yah can. And you notice that the book says gives, which means, sisters, it's interesting. If you believe that you were an understanding wife, then Yah would be giving you to somebody. Not you sitting there waiting on it. Yah would be giving you to somebody. I'm just saying. If there are any more questions, please don't be afraid to type. Again, disrespectful or stupid questions, I will treat like I treated the other dude who came in. Sister Morningstar, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Hallelujah. Let me ask this question. What do you think your husband has to offer a sister? Same with you, Sister Hagi. This is the time that you can either sing the praises of your husband, or you can bat your eye 10 times, let the people know you're under duress. If they bat the eyes 10 times, they are under extreme duress.
What my husband has to offer, he is a very hardworking man. He just doesn't sit around. He is very loving. Like he'll still, put his foot down when it needs to be, but he's very loving. He is a great father. It shows how much he loves his children. It shows how much he loves us as a family, because how we look, like we're not all beaten, worn down. Like he makes sure that we're good even before himself. It's times that I'm like, husband, you need more, you need better shoes for work, or you need this. He makes sure that that his household is good before himself.
Amen. Sister Hagit.
Well, my husband is loving and caring, yeah, but he he has a vision that he's working hard to get to, and he can provide a covering, and just well, his just the person he is. I mean, he has a lot to offer.
Hallelujah.
I'm still learning, and he's very patient. So if you need, he's patient. So if you're learning, he's okay with it, you know. But it's but so much, you know, patience that you can have. So
Melvin Gray, thank you, brother. Thank you, thank you. Fat Man Off Grid, I'm going to send you the link. Sister Jinmar said, oh yeah, I see. I was always so afraid and upset and defensive for men who desired what Yah naturally designed them to do or have. That's absolutely right. It's natural for a man to desire his. If you're a woman and you're not desired by your husband, there's a problem. There's a problem. Dope Law said, did you give the same assignments that you gave to Sister Ebony in the beginning in the courting stage? Shalom. Bless you, my brother. For myself, I might have been a lot tougher with Sister Taylor. You can say yes. You can say yes like that. Right live so everybody can see. I was very. Would you say very tough, or just tough?
I'll just say tough.
Okay. Whew. Blink 10 times. I was tough with her. I mean, first when she told me her occupation, I was like, bull crap. Send me your ID. Which she did. She sent me the place that she worked at, the hospital she worked at, her ID. I asked her to send me her driver's license. She sent that. And then obviously, as we go through the talking process, I said, before we even go even further in the talking process, I want to have a STD test. STD test. She took that. So, and then there were also other tests that I tested. I don't think that did I ever stop testing you? Oh, okay.
Had a test last night.
It was quite a bit of testing. It was quite a bit of testing. Palmetto, it is cold, brother. It's nippy out here. It's nippy. Did you give? Oh wait. Did you give the same assignments to Sister Taylor as you did to Sister Ebony? I meant to say. Okay, yes, sir. Yeah, I gave Sister Taylor even more assignments. Even more. That I wanted to see her meet, things I wanted to see her, because I was like, you want to go from which kind of goes into your question, Fearmonger. You want to go from nursing to this, like living off grid, and so I had to test that. She actually came and visited and saw everything, went back, and didn't flinch, didn't bat an eye. Knew that, it's off grid, we grow our own food. She's going to go from wearing scrubs to wearing, a dirty skirt, getting her hands in the soil, and she's had no problems with it. That same smile you see right now, that's the same smile she carries, like 85% of the day, which is completely impossible. I know somebody can smile that damn much. Any problems with the wives moving completely off grid? What? Okay. So we'll wait for brother Ronnie's wife, Sister Robinique, to come back, but we'll ask Sister Taylor. Sister T does smile a lot. They always be cheesing it.
For me, no problems at all. Again, I came with no expectations.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I'm gonna say I didn't expect electricity or water or anything, and so I got all that, so I'm comfortable.
She said when she first came to visit, she's like, I thought I was gonna have to go to an outhouse. I was like, what?
All the luxuries of modern living. It wasn't a hard transition at all because it was something I really wanted.
Ooh. So that's interesting that you chose this. Interesting. What about you, Tanisha? I know such a long time ago.
I know, right? I'm like, I don't know her. It It wasn't hard for me to transition. Before our transition, I already got to the point where I told my master, I'll move with you somewhere in a box. Just because I just know it's how he is at whatever. Like, we won't stay in a position of a box. He will move, we'll start in a box and end up in something else, something better. So I've already gotten that point well before we off grid. I did not even know what off grid really was, even when he was talking about it. I still had a little bit of a different picture. But no, so the transition wasn't hard. It was always better than what I thought. Of course, if you're gonna live in a box, then you can definitely live in a tent or a trailer to start off with. And I mean, it just got better from there. And I just watched ourselves grow. And 5 years later, I can't even believe what I'm looking at. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Found metal Percher said, I once told my wife, it's not always going to be like this. Thank Yah, she believed me. And I was right. I didn't really know. Sister Morningstar said, y'all have very beautiful smiles.
Thank you very much, sister.
Thank you.
Sister Coffee Girl said, love is about sacrifice and compromise. It is. Are you coming back? You freezing over there? You freezing over there? Okay. We're losing people. It's just gonna be chairs over there. Still live streaming. What? I'm waiting for Sister Ebony and Sister Robinette to come by so we can ask them a question.
Yep.
Hallelujah. So this is just, we're here to try and encourage. I understand that it's such a foreign concept today. But in order for us, those of us who are striving to walk out what we believe, in order for our families to grow, in order for a people to grow, you have to have unity. But I'm not talking about the unity where we all move on a piece of land and sing Kumbaya. I'm talking about unity where men come together, sisters join families, they have children in families. Men that want a wife, want two, I don't know however many a person wants. They're able to build that family. All right, Sister Robinique. Yes, you came in. Any problems with the wives moving completely off grid?
Not really, because we he basically prepared me, because we would watch videos and everything, and me and my mom, we were trying to can some stuff. I didn't can a whole lot, but I know I did rice and stuff, so we already had a prepared mindset before we came out. And so it was, because I've been with him for so long that it's wherever he's going, I'm going. So it's not I'm gonna be oh, I don't think I want to do this, I'm gonna head back wherever. But I just prepared myself and prepared my mind, prepared the kids and all of that.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Sister Ebony. Wait a minute. Wait. Any problems with you moving completely off grid?
Any problems? No. It's just getting used to.
It looks like you're wearing a snow gear.
Just gloves.
Okay.
No problems. Just getting used to it. I actually was excited when watching my master's channel and learning that he lived off grid. I was excited about living off grid and saw the need for it. Not saying that it's not hard or wasn't hard, but
I don't want to say enjoy, but embrace the experience of starting out and then where we are now. I'm very grateful for what our master has done and how Yah has provided and blessed our master.
Hallelujah. Sister Dominic, I have a question. So, when Brother Ronnie's hitting it at work, are you?
You boss.
I realized I had to hurry up and finish the rest of that because I was like, that's a terrible.
It's not after dark. Now, right.
When he's hitting it at work, at work. That means when he's working hard at work. This is just getting worse and worse. When Brother Ronnie is putting in the hours at work, are you at home just chilling?
No. We have children, too many children for me to just be sitting chilling. It's children who need to be taught, need to be fed, gardens need to be prepared. Excited about this growing season and everything. So yeah, it's work to be done.
You school the children?
Yes.
And you manage the house?
Yes.
And you grow the gardens, plant the gardens, build some of the gardens. Businessman said, "I'm driving." Hey, y'all got to clear up your minds. I'm the victim here. Sister Susan said, "Well said." No, he didn't. Okay, Sister Aspen, it came out wrong. It's not me. So you're working hard.
Yes.
So a sister wife basically is just going to come in and just be a servant working hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to have no rights to Brother Ronnie because you're going to put her in the tool shed.
Wait, what? No.
No tool shed?
No.
No outhouse for her?
No.
Oh, okay. Just want to know. I mean, want to make sure. I keep trying to lose her in traffic too. I don't know if I want my kids in the car with her anymore. The way she keeps. Beautiful living definitions of helpmeets. Hallelujah. Fearmonger, bless you, my brother. Bless you, bless you. All right. Well, are there any more questions? Because if not, we're going to bring this to a close. We're just trying to show you that there are actually sisters out there, and many sisters in the chat, that are actually excited about this topic. They see the, I see blame someone else. They see a need for this. They want this. And the Bible says the harvest is plenty, the laborers are few. I guess the question continually is how badly do you want to be covered? How badly do you want to be covered? Is it more important to have your own, or is it important for you to be covered? And then the misconception that, and I see a lot of people put up the comments, you know, all y'all are very beautiful. That gets rid of the comment that people say only old ugly women want to go into polygyny. That's out the door. Only women that ain't got nowhere else to go want to be in polygyny. That goes out the door too, huh? Only broke bees want to go into polygyny. That goes out the door. So what we're starting to see is that this topic is becoming more understood. And a lot of people are moving past the inquiry stage, and are now saying, you know what? I'm not trying to go through this life alone. I'm not trying to be like my mama or my best friends. How badly do you want it? I'm just saying, because I'm going to throw out, being 46 and single sucks. Had to throw that in there. What? I just chose a random age. I'm glad. Sister Priscilla, shalom. Brother Tom, shalom. Maybe I should change my name because it tells you what you're definitely in for. Fat man. To be surprised, brother Fat Man off grid, you'd be surprised. There are a lot of sisters that see the value in living off grid. A lot of them do. A lot of them watch channels of off grid living because a lot of people are starting to understand it's hard out there. And do you want to live in your own travel trailer by yourself? Oh, E. Do you want to live in your own travel trailer by yourself at some state park? Or be part of a man's house? All right. All right. Okay. Okay. Come here. Come here. Y'all want to close it out? I got you. Y'all close it out?
Yes,
Yes.
Shalom from the house of Ronnie Rayner, land of blessings.
Shalom from the house of the marsh.
Y'all gonna say shalom?
Shalom. Yes,
I hope you all enjoyed the stream. Shalom from Barak, the house of following Yahshua.
Okay.
Shalom and good night.
Shalom and good night.
Bye.